Hey guys, so yeah, I made a bit of a faux pas this morning and I sent out a previous email newsletter, which was so annoying because I'd spent quite a bit of time on it. So I'm being a little bit lazy, not lazy really, because I'm really tight on time, but I did want to get this message out. I did want to share a little bit of the content from that newsletter piece, which is basically, it's the kids are back to school today. Well, my kids are back to school. I know some went back last week. Many of the parents that come to LPT are getting back on the bandwagon, and that's great. And in the fitness industry, we do call it the 2nd January because it's that time of year. People have maybe been off plan with their diets over the summer, too many holidays, barbecues, social occasions. But now, is a good time to start to refocus. Obviously, the kids getting back, that gives them the focus and the structure more than anything. But that same structure gives the parents some structure back in their lives too. So it is a really good time to get back to, planning out your meals, planning out your training diary, focusing on your health. And one of the things that I talked about in my newsletter piece that I didn't send you was that the topic of my last podcast with Jeff later. Definitely go and check that out over at Mastering You with Matt Sutton. So Jeff is a pro bodybuilder with the IFBB. He's helped 7,000 people transform their bodies and get fit to be bodybuilding champions. He knows his stuff. And he mentioned something really important that I also will share the link to that somewhere in this email or video, is that, the average Joe, the average person, mum, dad, busy working professional, who just wants to be in decent shape. They don't want a six pack, they don't want to get ripped, they just want to feel good, have energy. They actually have a big margin of error to play with, even if you're only at 80% of your calorie target, even if you're only getting a sleep score of 70 to 80, on your Fitbit or Apple Watch, even if you're not hitting your 10,000 steps, but you're hitting your 7,000 or 8,000 steps, and managing stress levels, you're probably going to get some really good results. Even if you're only training 2 or 3 days a week, lifting some weights, doing some cardio, rather than 5 or 6 days a week, you're going to get some good results. The margin for error, definitely listen to that podcast, compared to what these guys have to do, fair play to them, but yeah, not for me. What they have to do to get in that unbelievable shape to win these sort of championships of physique, it really does put into perspective, actually, it is a lot easier than we think. A lot of people think that they could never achieve the weight loss goals that they desire, but actually you really can. You do need that calorie target. You need some advice on where your proteins, carbohydrates and fats need to be. You need a little bit of help with different recipes that will help you get there. Obviously that's something that we help you with at LPT. We have all of those resources, but you don't need to be perfect. You really don't. I'm tracking myself at the moment, and I was a good 25% off last week in total, but it hasn't affected things at all. I'm still on track with my own goals, and you can be the same. So that's really the key message I wanted to get across. And the other thing that Jeff talked about is, your professional athletes have their on and off seasons, and I always used to think it was a little bit not a good idea to be hit and miss with your training, and this idea of a 2nd January in September, I used to kind of poo-poo that because I thought that whole idea promotes being sort of off and on with your health plan. But just like a pro athlete has their sort of training season and their off season, the average person can kind of do the same, and you can kind of think about your summer period as your off season. I suppose the issue comes when you're off season. It depends how you basically define your off season. Is your off season doing nothing, no exercise, eating and drinking way too much? If that is the case, then obviously that's going to wipe out any gains that you got from your on season. So I would suggest if you're going into September, October, maybe November as your on season, that's 3 months to get some great results. And then maybe December with the Christmas period, maybe you consider that as a little bit of your off month, but you're not going to completely stop all of your habits, and then you can pick it back in maybe your on season being January. But I actually think having what we call in the industry like undulating focus, where you go up and down, I think that's not a bad thing at all. I think it's not a bad way of thinking about your year. The only thing, like I said, is being really aware of how bad is that off season, because you don't want every off season or off period of time to be so bad that you've got this uphill struggle to come back to. So it's just something to think about, and it's something that I've been reflecting on myself, like which times of the year do I want to be really working hard towards maybe building my strength, maybe working on getting my physique where I want it to be, and which parts of the year do I want to be able to go to from more like a maintenance level, and not be so focused on maybe a performance goal or an aesthetic goal, and instead just enjoy maybe holidays and stuff like that. So something to think about. I hope that gives you a little bit of value. And like I said, go and listen to the full episode with Jeff. And then finally, 1 week today, we have our September intake starting. Okay, so that's going to be the 12th of September. We have about 3 spots left now. Those spots have gone really fast. So if you do feel like you need a bit of a kickstart and you're ready to focus on your health and wellness goals, then get in touch. I'm going to be running a orientation meeting this Saturday at LPT Kettering at 10:30 in the morning. So even if you're a little bit on the fence, so you're not quite sure if it's going to be for you or not, you are welcome to come. We've got some spare seats, so you can just come along and listen to how the program works, and how to get the best out of it if you're going to join. But that's all I've got to say really, guys. So if that's for you, get in touch quick because the spaces are going fast. Okay, take care.